is up, everybody out there in podcast land? The Gaming Dad Podcast back once again, episode 15. My name's Tharoah, hanging out with Scotch and Tharoah. How you doing, Scotch?
Ooh, what's going on?
Yeah, you have to forgive my voice. A little under the weather still, but getting better.
Had a huge fever the other day, yeah?
Yeah, it was massive. Like right after we recorded the podcast, I fell out or something. I don't know. It was pretty crazy.
Well, hey, at least you're alive.
I am alive, but yeah,
Don't know what I would do. You can't have one half of the Gaming Dads podcast. It's just not how it works.
Oh no, trust me. I'll still look. Even if I'm in the hospital, we're somehow recording via. Like you're hearing the beep in the background, beep, beep. And I'm still recording the podcast. That's pretty typical. So,
well, you weren't feeling well. I wasn't feeling well all week either. So we're in it together.
Exactly. So speaking of being in it together, I have to bring up the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
you're not moving right now.
Jabated though.
So we definitely extended it.
I don't know how days work.
That's fair.
Calendars are a new concept to me.
Oh, okay.
And I miscalculated the number of days there are in February.
Wait, stop. What did you just say?
Listen, we talked about this beforehand. There's an R before the UARY. It's February.
February. Okay. Right.
So I'm moving for sure, without a doubt, because I know because we got the U-Haul.
Yep.
We're moving next weekend. So you'll be listening to this on Wednesday. What is it? Wednesday the 3rd? Yes, Wednesday the 3rd. We are moving March the 6th.
Okay. So then next week we will not have an episode.
Yes, there will be a gap next week.
Okay. All right, I get it now. Kind of. So, all right. So we're going to bring it to episode 15.
This is season 1.5.
1.25894. That's what we'll go with.
A whole episode.
So yeah, glad to be back. Still not feeling the best. So you know what? I'm putting this caveat out here now. I'm not editing out the sniffles this week. That took me too long last week.
Oh Lord.
I'm not doing it. So you guys are going to have to listen to my sniffles, but that's perfectly okay, I guess.
You get the, this is the Sick Dads podcast now.
Yeah, apparently. Just edit me out completely. But
how often do you get sick?
Never.
Really? Like even with the kids?
Yeah, I mean, even with the kids. So my daughter goes to school. The last time I was sick was when I had COVID back in last March.
Okay.
That was the last time I was sick, like actually sick, not just a migraine. My
wife and I are sick like at least once a month now. I think it's partially stress.
Probably, yeah.
I think and partially we're not like taking care of ourselves correctly.
Yeah. Like
my sleep schedule is completely jacked.
Yeah, I know. You are around at some weird times.
Well, I work from either 12 to 9 or 1 to 10 at night.
And that's how I used to. Like, I honestly, when I worked that schedule, I was killing myself. I was streaming 7 days a week. I'd get up at like 10 or 11 o'clock, and then I'd come home and I'd stream for another 6 hours.
Yeah, you're crazy, man.
And then I
need sleep. If I don't, like, you can ask my wife, if I don't sleep at least 7 hours, I'm just, it's just all, I'm in complete pain.
I mean, that's fair.
So
I don't know. I guess I trained myself a little bit to sleep less. I don't know if it's the military or what, but
that might be it.
Maybe so, because, I'm able to get away. I mean, I was streaming at 4 a.m. this morning.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. I was late to the podcast recording because I slept, but then I had some internet issues.
It's reasonable.
So maybe if it's okay with the wife after you move, maybe we back up the time a little bit.
Maybe.
So, but anyway, yeah. Good stream last night, streaming Super Mario 3D World. Got some fat raids, ended up with like 1 million people in chat. It was a lot of fun. And
there you
go. Speaking of streaming, before we kind of get into this week's topics, don't forget, we are streaming on the Gaming Dads podcast.
Had a really good first stream there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of people showed up. I was kind of playing the game. You were, chatting and keeping up with chat and having a good conversation. It almost, to me, kind of felt like a live podcast episode.
And that's what I kind of was hoping it would be like. Yeah. And maybe, that'll evolve and that'll change as we continue to grow and everything. But, I feel like the Twitch should just be an extension of the podcast because, this is how we present ourselves here. And then, the Twitch is just kind of like a live version of that. And, we can play around with that as we want, which I like Twitch because it's this nice platform that you can kind of do what you want with it.
Right.
And you can have fun with it, and you present yourself in a certain way on other platforms. But then when you move over to Twitch, you can do something different, which is cool. So
you guys know, like we edit the podcast, but we don't edit. Like I don't edit out sections and reword everything, or reorder everything. I literally edit out clicks and sniffles and stuff like that. What you hear is what you get, and that's kind of how we like it.
It's the pure form of the Gaming Dads podcast.
Exactly. So
yeah, make sure to check us out there. We're both on Twitch.
Yep.
I less so. I'm going to try to do it more frequently.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Twitter, whatever, all the social medias, that sort of thing. I'm going to create a link tree, and you're going to work on a WordPress. Yeah. And we'll have that posted for sure in this week's episode. So it won't be cluttered with a bunch of links and everything like that. You can just click on one link and there will be all the links there for you.
Yeah, I think that'll be helpful.
Easy access.
Too easy.
Yep.
But yeah, speaking about not so easy access, I want to get into the first topic, which is the dreaded microtransactions.
Oh, this has been one that's coming for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It got out of control. I feel like it's a little bit more under control now.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what a microtransaction is, I need you to crawl out from a rock now.
You haven't been a gamer for the past 5 years?
Right. So basically, selling you content within the game now, and I'm okay with microtransactions when they're cosmetic. Like, who cares?
What was the first interaction that you had with microtransactions?
Clash of Clans.
Okay.
On mobile. To speed up your building. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you pay $1 to speed it up. And here's the thing is they don't throw you into it, especially for those mobile type games. And I know you talked about, not referring as much to mobile, but that's kind of where it was born.
Yep.
And they didn't just come up and say, hey, just pay to make things go faster. They were like, hey, this first time is on us. We'll take care of it for you. The next time it's only $1. And then 3 months later, you're spending $600 a week on Clash of Clans.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
The first interaction I had with it was the mobile stuff. I never used it, though. I interacted with it, though. I saw it. The first time I actually bought microtransactions was World of Warships, though.
Oh, that's a big one.
Because, there was I remember back in late... Was it early or late 20? It was early 2018, I think. There was the big push for the Montana because they were getting rid of the Montana. You could never get that ship ever again.
Hannah Montana.
Yes. And if you don't know what the Montana is, it's a big battleship. Blah blah blah. I'm a giant nerd. Moving on. So I said, okay, I'm going to push to get the Montana because you could only purchase it a certain way. And it was like the coins that you got in the game. It wasn't coins that you could actually purchase. You had to actually physically play the game and do well and get the coins that way. So I ended up purchasing about $250 worth over a series of a couple of months worth of these, boosters that helped you gain those points faster. And now I don't play the game anymore at all.
Right, exactly. And
so, that's $250 that kind of went out the window. I mean, I really want to. I was thinking about downloading it the other day. Actually,
I have it downloaded right now.
There you go.
Like I just logged in my Steam to take a look, and
Next game adds Twitch.
World of Warships. I'm cool with that. Oh, there's an update.
Yeah.
There's an update. So
Okay.
So microtransactions I'm fine with as long as they're a cosmetic. There's a game called Age of War. They advertised it on TV. It was a mobile based game. Advertised it on TV. And really cool concept. You had these clusters, which is basically like a world where you had all these different armies and you're competing over resources and things. And it was really kind of cool until I found out that the ones that were winning the wars in games were paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Because once you start getting into the higher levels, to upgrade one troop takes 30 real days.
Right.
And so they're speeding that up to where it's instant. And I stopped playing. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually one of the people that was hired on for the marketing team. And so, my biggest issue with microtransactions, I mean, we see them in games across the board. My biggest issue is kids. My kid this past summer, $500 in Roblox. Why is that so easy?
Well, that's the problem that we're talking about here is, I think when we talk, let's look at the good side of microtransactions, right? It's just making the game, it's personalizing the game to yourself.
Right.
And spending a couple bucks, right? Team Fortress 2. Microtransactions are all cosmetic. Overwatch, generally speaking, all those are cosmetic. There's a couple things within other games that if you buy something, you might be slightly more effective. Team Fortress 2 actually has that. If you purchase something and you get a specific weapon, it has a specific perk, and if you tactically use it a specific way, but you can also get it for free. Most of the stuff is I'm getting the item quicker is all it is.
Well, here's the thing though, and this is kind of my problem, and I'm targeting more of like preteens, right?
Right.
Specifically with things like Fortnite, where there's skins and things that you can earn, but then there's skins and things that you can buy, and the kids with the parents that really don't care are buying those, and then you don't have the gaming dad skin on Fortnite. What is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So it's almost like a peer pressure thing to go in and go take your mom's credit card and go buy this and hope that she doesn't notice. And that's my problem.
That's the thing that these companies are capitalizing on is what's the word I'm looking for? The peer pressure effect that these sort of things have on, again, preteens and that age group.
Right.
Is, you don't have that skin?
Right.
Oh, you're not cool unless you have that skin.
Well,
every kid's got to have that skin. So what we have to move, the thing that we have to move away from is buying the thing because of the status behind
correct.
it. And I don't want to lead too far ahead into another topic, but just to kind of reach over and pull this idea, just because it's so similar, within Pokemon, right? I'm not necessarily going for the card because it's the expensive card. I'm just going for that card because I want that card. And
right.
not necessarily every card that I want is the expensive card.
Of course.
But if I say, oh, I like this card a lot, people will be like, oh, well, that's such a lame card. It's only worth that much. I don't care that it's worth that much.
Right.
I just want like the card.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I have a Arcanine. Arcanine is my favorite Pokemon, by the way.
Oh, really?
It's PSA 9. Got it for $7. It is my favorite card in my whole collection. Like I mean, I have like other rarer cards that that are worth hundreds of dollars, but that's my favorite card because it's my favorite Pokemon and PSA 9, and it's my favorite art of it.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Whereas all these microtransactions, these skins, it's all about the status.
Right. And that's the thing, is that they've had governments look into it, because specifically, like, let's take Overwatch. Okay. Overwatch has skins for every character, and you can unlock those skins randomly by getting loot boxes. You open a loot box that has 4 items in it. It could have that skin or could not have that skin.
Oh God! Now you're throwing me back to old school YouTube, back in like what 2017 YouTube, where they were. I think it was Pyro. I watched Pyrocynical open up 100 of those loot boxes.
Exactly. But here's the thing, though: governments, specifically like Australia and a couple of others, have looked at that as gambling. It is. You're paying money in hopes that you're going to win a certain skin that you want, rather than just offering that skin for purchase.
Well, and it's fine if you understand what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
What the problem is that you have kids, preteens, that are influenced very easily by YouTubers and other people who are given deals by these companies, Blizzard, Activision, whatever. And they'll say, oh, hey, if you make a video of you opening up 100 of these, we'll give you some boxes that you can open. And lo and behold, those boxes have the rare items in them. So they're guaranteed to get them. So when you watch the video, you're like, oh, I have a pretty good chance of getting that. So you spend the money to get the 100 loot boxes and you might get one rare item.
Right.
Whereas the YouTuber is getting like 10 or 12.
And that's the thing, too. And I think that because about, I don't know, what was that, 3 or 4 months ago, they had a whole big thing on YouTube where it was the thing to pay $60,000 for a whole bunch of Pokemon cards. You remember that?
Oh, God.
And watch me open on stream.
Let's not get into the other topic. But yeah, no, you're right. That was the trend. It was the same thing with the loot boxes. And that's what I mean, like the Pyrocynical video that kind of made fun of that, which was, I'm going to open up 100 loot boxes in Overwatch.
Right.
And he didn't have any Steam. He didn't have any keys or anything like that from them.
Right.
So he just got what he got. And I think he might have gotten like one rare item in that whole thing. And most of them were duplicates.
So Diva, my wife, who goes by Diva, of course, she plays Overwatch consistently. I mean, she has for years now, probably since Overwatch came out in 2016, 2017. She still doesn't have every item in the game. And she's never purchased a loot box that I know of.
Well, and that's the part of me that like for Team Fortress 2, right? I haven't bought anything in Team Fortress 2 because you don't need to buy anything to be good at that game.
Right, you don't.
Right. It's all cosmetic. And for me, I don't care about the cosmetics. I just want to play the dang game, especially because I don't see my character anyway.
Right.
Because it's all first person. So I don't care what I look like. Now, if I get a random item and I'm like, oh, that would look cool. Like you get the hats or the skin, or you have a special item or whatever, then yeah, I'll use it. But other than that, I'm not going to use it. Now, what we haven't talked about yet is the microtransactions that do affect gameplay.
Yeah. So
like Battlefront.
Yeah,
God. Let's focus on Battlefront mainly because that's the biggest perpetrator. But I also want to talk about Mario. I want to talk about Mario Kart before we talk about Battlefront.
Okay.
Mario Kart had a great idea with their app. With the
I've never played it, so I don't know.
It's actually fun. It is fun. The problem is that you only get to play so much. And they have seasons and everything like that, and they rotate the tracks that you play, which is fine. Right. And most of the time, you're playing the same track over and over again. But the problem is that to progress further in the game, they really incentivize microtransactions.
Sure,
like they push it hard. Like
is it a free app?
It's a free app, but the problem again, like to be able to play those tracks, all of the tracks, or to unlock a certain character, they really, really, really push you paying for it, which I hate.
And that's fair.
I'm like, just give me the character. Like allow me. Like I don't care about the skins. Just let me use Luigi.
What about Pokemon Go?
I want to use Luigi, like because that's one of my favorite characters is to play with Luigi.
Because I played Pokemon Go in a little bit when it first came out. And if I'm not mistaken, you either had to like go to a gym to get a Pokeball,
yeah,
or buy them.
Pokestop.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I get it. These companies, they're businesses. They're not here for your entertainment at all.
Right.
I completely understand that. But to me, that's the equivalent of if I buy a movie ticket to go see a film and they say, hey, for an extra $2.99, you can see the alternate ending.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is with a Nintendo. Like, that's the Nintendo situation, at least. Like, I could easily, like, you could drive where I used to live. I could drive up and down an area and get 100 Pokeballs pretty easily. So they don't make it difficult for you to get Pokeballs at all.
Unless you're
it's pretty simple. Well, unless you're a kid, right? And you live in a rural area where it's really hard to get those. But they make it generally pretty simple to do that.
Sure.
But flipping over on the flip side of that, though, you have Battlefront.
Yeah, so Battlefront 2, when it was marketed, God, I remember this. Battlefront 2, EA released all of these press statements saying that microtransactions will be no part of Battlefront 2 because that was one of the issues they had.
Remember the E3?
1? Yeah.
Remember the E3? No loot boxes, no microtransactions. Yeah, and I remember that statement very clearly.
People were happy.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing.
Lied.
This is my PSA to gamers. Okay. Stop complaining about the game price. So right now, an Xbox game is $59. I think they did go up to $69 for a video game. But I want you to think about it like this. What was the price of an Xbox game in 2010?
It was about the same price.
About the same price. Give me one other product that exists on a commercial marketplace that is the exact same price it was 11 years ago.
Well, I think so. If we're going to get into prices of the games, my problem with the prices of the games is I don't feel it matches the quality. Sure. That's my problem is I'm chilling out $60-$70 for a game. That's why I don't buy new games anymore. It's because I don't like, I know, and I wait for them to either be free because like the Epic Games Store, I have a slew of games that have been made in the past 2 years that I got for nothing. Sure. Or I wait for them to be on discount, either on Steam or on Epic Games, or if I can find a deal somewhere else.
Now, I'm looking at it strictly from a business standpoint and the expectations of gamers when it comes to quality. So a software engineer 11 years ago is not making the same they're making today. Impossible. Yeah. Impossible.
No, well, yeah. And so from the business side, you're 100% right. You got to think about inflation.
So, and I think that's what the thought process was with these companies like EA. They were like, hey, look, you know, the prices of making these games is going up. So either A, we're going to suffer on quality, which is what we see now in 2021, right? Mm-hmm. Or B, we add microtransactions or DLC or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. And I think that comes back to me to me, it comes back to the profit. Like, I see the profit margin that they're making.
Right.
And I see I see what they're doing and the moves that they're making. And I'm saying you're not creating quality games and you're not making quality moves. Like, if I were an investor, I would not invest in Microsoft right now.
Sure.
At least Microsoft Gaming, I would not invest in that at all because the moves that they're making are not quality moves. Halo, like I said last week, I do not pre-order Halo Infinite.
Right.
Don't. Like, you should not pre-order Halo Infinite. The past, 2 or 3 Halo games have been mediocre at best. And the remakes weren't great. They were good. I liked them. Don't get me wrong. But they weren't up to the scale of quality that you would expect from a Microsoft game.
Well, and here's the thing is that, so the average AAA title takes about 6 to 7 years to develop, right? And we can argue all day, you know, why it takes that long. And, you know, anybody who's listening, I'm willing to sit down and have that conversation and explain why it takes that long, especially if there's a new engine being developed. So let's take this. Let's just say that there's 100 developers. Okay. And the average salary is $50,000. Okay. So over a 7-year period, that comes out to $35 million. And that's just in salary. Mm-hmm. That's only in salary. That's only in paying the people that are developing the game. That doesn't include any of the equipment. None of the equipment. That doesn't include any of the testing. That doesn't include actually making physical copies of the discs. That doesn't include any of that. Right. So, you know, the return on investment for these companies is, because a lot of people seem to think that these companies are just rolling in the dough. And so I thought the same thing as well until I started really delving into EA Trader reports and stuff like that and actually seeing what the expenses of the company are. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I was shocked. No wonder they started adding things like microtransactions and DLCs and, all of these different things to try to supplement that. I get that. And gamers, we suck. That's what I'm throwing it out there right now. We suck. And the reason why I say that is because, again, the price of electricity has gone up in the last 11 years, but the prices of games haven't.
Well, and that's the good side of microtransactions, right? Is it helps people who don't necessarily want to spend money on the microtransactions still be able to purchase the game at a reasonable price.
Right.
And then you have the people who do buy the microtransactions or can't afford it or whatever, and they help supplement that other side of it. The problem that you have is how do you present the microtransaction? Number one, we need to stop targeting kids.
Yeah, I agree.
Their parents' debit cards or credit cards, because that's an awful, scummy practice. And I completely agree with Australia and how they handled that situation. I completely 100% agree. And the other thing is the pay to win aspect of it, because it doesn't make it fun anymore. Like, it just doesn't make it fun.
You'll make a buttload of money in the beginning, and then your game will die.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you saw what happened with Battlefront.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Is it just was people buying the cards so that they could upgrade their character, and then they just absolutely destroy everyone, and then everyone just leaves because they can't afford the cards or they don't want to buy them because it's not worth it. But games like Fortnite, Team Fortress 2, I'll even say World of Warships, because you know what? That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not purchasing. Like in my situation, I wasn't purchasing these things to make myself better.
Right.
I was just purchasing these things so I could purchase a ship.
Because you like the ship.
Because I like the ship. And if I played it correctly, then sure, it was a little bit of an upgrade, because tactically speaking, you could play it a certain way.
Right.
And you could use that. But it didn't make it easier for me to win.
Right, exactly.
That's all it was. So, I mean, cosmetic stuff is fine. Roblox, I mean, whatever game that you can think of where there's cosmetic upgrades, perfectly fine. I have no problem with that.
Please stop targeting kids.
Yeah, that's the one thing is there needs to be. You know what? I don't know what kind of barrier there is that we need to make so that parents aren't having to call their institutions to fight a specific transaction with Google Play or with Fortnite or with whatever other microtransactions, soul sucking, game.
Well, and here's the thing.
I don't know what the answer to that is, but I just think it's scummy to go after kids.
I think the answer is, on both sides. Mm-hmm. It's not, we can't just sit here and say, hey, Google, Apple, all of these companies, you need to make sure your stuff is more secure, because they've got a lot of, two-factor authorization that you can add in there, or will they give you a call if you have any internet transactions. So there's a lot of things that institutions are doing, but what are you doing as parents to watch your kids?
Well, and that's the thing that they were capitalizing on, is that you had a generation of parents who had no idea what was going on.
Right.
I mean, I remember for me, it was me getting on the computer and doing all of this stuff on the computer. Now, I wasn't doing anything crazy,
of course,
at all, because I was a total loser kid. Like, I wasn't on IM, like, talking to girls or whatever.
I was
like
doing
one
that,
friend. I think I am Santa more than I am to anyone else.
Legit.
So, but I mean, I even today, I know how to do stuff on the computer that my mom has no idea what to do.
Right.
And I mean, now we're talking about a generation of like you and me who are parents. We know what's going on. So
my 1-year-old son, who we don't allow him to be on like any mobile devices or anything like that. My 1-year-old son can take my wife's phone and unlock it and start YouTube.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying. But
yeah,
I get it. I mean, bottom line for me, there's a positive side to microtransactions, but there's also personal accountability as well. I agree. When I had to call my bank this last year and basically say, hey, my kid did this, I understand if I have to eat the cost, was my answer. I wasn't blaming the bank. It's not the bank's fault, that my kid was on her tablet and I didn't double, triple, quadruple check to make sure that it was secure and she couldn't buy stuff. So yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, I think that's that's a tough one. I mean, that's going to be a conversation that we'll continue to have over the coming
Season
years,
2.
especially. But next topic.
Yep.
Quickly, just 5 minutes on this one. But just because we're a little late to this specific topic, because I think that everyone's already talked about it. But I know you're not into Pokemon, really.
Yeah. I mean, I played way back in the day with Game Boy, and I've seen the collectible card game, and so I'm aware, but I just wasn't really my big thing. Well,
I have adult money now, and I love Pokemon card collecting.
Sure.
And I went to Walmart today, and I actually saw Pokemon cards at Walmart.
That's a shop.
So I got some. I got completely gypped. I got like one rare card. The rest of them were all junk, but whatever. It's part of the game.
Yep.
But with COVID, Pokemon, they haven't been able to create as much product.
Right.
And ship it out to the rest of the world. And what has happened is you've had a slurry of people going to stores.
Did you just mix the word slew and flurry?
A slurry, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Listen.
I don't know what to do with you.
I am Shakespeare.
Yes, absolutely.
No, so a slurry, I'm going to continue to use that word.
That's fine.
Of people coming into stores, Target, Walmart, GameStop, buying up all the product, going to eBay and selling that product at exorbitant rates.
Right.
The most recent problem we've had is of the Shining Fates set.
Right.
That recently came out, the second version, because you had one version that came out earlier, but now you have all of the what do they call them? The shiny version of the set. And typically like the EBT, so the box, the Elite Trainer box, that's what they're called. They're usually only $50. If you go on eBay right now, though, you can't find a single one for less than $100.
Sure.
And they're even selling opened boxes where they've taken the really rare cards out, and they're selling them now for the normal price.
Sure.
So now you're getting all of the commons and uncommons, which are worthless, all of like the tokens and sleeves and yada yada, the booklet, the box itself opened for the price of an unopened box.
Yeah. And look, I get it. I get the frustration, but I have the same mentality that I had when people were complaining about PS5s and the new Xbox. People are going to do that. That's especially in capitalism. That's what that is. I get it. And it really sucks. And the best way to combat those people is don't buy them.
Yeah.
Don't buy them on eBay. Wait your time to get what you want, because at the end of the day, just like with a PS5, you don't need it to survive. Right.
Right.
A lot of adults were really upset about not being able to get a PS5, and mainly because of status. Once again, that, I've got a PS5. What are you? Oh, you still rocking that PS4? Psh, whatever. And we saw that with COVID, where people were buying up toilet paper, right?
Yeah,
and trying to resell it for $50 a roll.
Quick side topic. Yeah. I, as a joke, took a because I how like they'll be like the Pokemon cards, like they'll be like super rare, they'll have like this exorbitant title. I took a toilet paper roll unopened, and I posted it on like OfferUp.
Oh my god.
And I put 2019 February edition toilet paper super rare.
Oh my god.
And I was selling it for $500. It got taken down with like an hour.
Oh, of course.
So, but I thought that I had a couple messages of people being like, "That's hilarious."
Yeah, and
so,
but I mean, the fact that people were doing that for real, like, that sucks. So,
oh yeah.
But guess what? Do you need toilet paper to live? I mean, I'm asking the question. Do you?
I mean, yes and no.
So, what's funny is the free market kind of freed itself, and there was a few companies that kind of redesigned kitchen sprayers a little bit, to where you could hook them to your toilet and have a bidet, and boom, done.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
My thing is, and now you can buy toilet paper just fine because those guys are idiots. Right? Now, if it's something like electricity, right, I can't just go out and harvest my own electricity. Like, that's not how it works. That's a little bit different. But that's the main way to stop these scalpers. It goes back to like outside of NFL games, people scalping tickets for, 10,000% over what their value was.
Right.
Which they made illegal, but it still happened. You know why it still happened? Because people still bought it.
Yeah.
If people stop buying it, then it's not an issue.
Yeah. That's the problem, is that people need to stop buying it. My biggest thing was like with McDonald's, right? It's you come into Happy Meals. I bought my share of Happy Meals to get the cards because I was like, you know what? I just want to have a couple within my collection because this is cool.
Yeah.
I buy like or like I'm driving home. My wife wants McDonald's fries. It's $5. I want some nuggies. I'll get it. Right.
Wait. Is it $5 for a Happy Meal in Florida?
It's $5 for a Happy Meal.
Jeez.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, I'm like, quick late night snack, and I get some Pokemon cards.
All right.
Like, no big deal. Not that you can't use the Pokemon cards for the game anyway. It's just for collection, for collecting. But my biggest thing was like you had people buying entire boxes of these Pokemon cards and then selling them at exorbitant prices. And I'm like, this is for kids. You literally can't use this in the game.
So how would you feel if those same people bought those boxes and then live streamed themselves throwing them into the ocean?
I mean, maybe it's a political statement. I don't know.
Maybe,
maybe I don't know. I think that, and I get it. It's the market. It is what it is. But I think the reason why it bothers me is because I remember being a kid and just loving to buy these cards and like collecting these cards, and it was so much fun. It's part of my childhood, right? And now I have
a son. Magic is what it is. Magic.
Right, exactly. And you're capitalizing, again, kind of connecting it with the microtransaction thing. You're capitalizing on children.
Yeah, I mean,
I think another part of it is Pokemon cards are becoming a status symbol, which that hurts. That really like hurts my soul, because again, it's kind of like with the speedrunning thing. Right. Like, you're tainting it. Like, Pokemon cards aren't a status symbol. It's a pastime.
You get status for spending $60,000 on a Pokemon.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there are people that like there are people. I don't get it. Like, it's like the Logan Paul thing. It's the Leon Hart. Like, I cannot stand Leon Hart. Did you know who Leon Hart is?
No.
He is a Pokemon unboxer. Okay, he undoes packs and everything like that. He adds absolutely nothing. There's no substance to his videos. Like Max Mofo, he had substance to the video. It's not just him opening up the packs. It's him having fun with it, showing how interesting it is, giving information about it, and then being Max Mofo, right?
Yeah.
That from Filthy Frank and everything like that. Leon Hart, it's literally just a dude opening packs and that's it. There's no substance. And I get it. He's doing well. Good for him. Good for him that he's doing well. He's capitalizing on the market.
Sure.
Good for him. But it's just, I don't know. It's the same thing that we talked about with speedrunning. It's like you're tainting it and you're making it this status symbol thing that it shouldn't be that. It should be this interesting, fun thing that you can do in your free time. And you don't have to jump from Target to Walmart to GameStop to try to find a pack. Like, I want to present this to my son when he gets older. Sure. I have no idea if in the future, I hope to God this dies off. I really do, because I want to be able to go to Walmart or go to Target once a week with my son with $5 or $10 and buy a Pokemon pack. Sure. And open it up with him and have fun with it and play the game. So I don't know. The Pokemon collector within me it just hurts to watch.
Yeah, and I could see that. But bottom line, and I think we can kind of leave it here if you don't have anything else.
Yeah.
But bottom line is these companies are sitting back, looking at these scalpers, looking at the normal consumers and laughing.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah, we got our money.
Don't care.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? So, next topic that we want to bring up is one that was suggested by you guys, and it's how niche is VR gaming? Here's my initial kind of reaction to that. It's not. I think it's here to stay, especially, the PlayStation integrated it within the PS4. Mm-hmm. There's entire massive communities around games like Beat Saber. Now, I know you have VR chat up here. Did you know you could play VR chat without a VR headset?
Yes, I did.
So I actually, with a buddy of mine the other night, we decided to go play VR chat. There was a speedrunning room. We spent probably 3 hours in there. It was so much fun.
A speedrunning room on VR chat.
Yeah, so it was literally like a platforming speedrun that had timers built into the VR chat.
Oh my god!
And it was addicting. We're like, oh man,
will speedrun anything. I swear.
Oh man, we almost got this faster. So it was really kind of cool. I was upset that the new Half-Life was on VR. I was upset. But I think that was a very strategic decision by Valve to put that game only on the VR platform to try to boost its own sales of its own headset. And even a few years ago, VR was really unattainable unless you just had massive amounts of cash just laying around. But now, they're more affordable. I think you can get like an Oculus Rift or something. Not Oculus Rift. What is the one I'm thinking of? It's like $300.
Yeah, that's the version 2 of the Oculus Rift that you're thinking of. I forgot the name of it, but no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it's $300, which is less than what a next gen console is. So I think we're going to see more and more of it. I think it's actually kind of changing the way that humans interact. When I logged into VR chat for the first time the other night, I made the comment, this reminds me of Second Life, but without all of the pornographic everything. Because VR chat does not allow that, which is really cool.
Well, Second Life is like the 4chan of VR, whereas VR chat is kind of like not the Reddit, but the oh my gosh, what's the name of the Tumblr of VR?
And it was fun to watch. Like, it was fun to kind of play around and just chat with random people. There was a Spider-Man one, and so I think that it's going to continue to expand. I don't, if you would ask me 10 years ago, I'd have said, oh, that's niche. That's like Nintendo going with motion controls. It's never going to work, but it's worked really well. I mean, Beat Saber literally has hundreds of thousands of players. Yeah. And it's fun. And
so
I don't know.
So I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh, really?
I think it is niche. And the reason why it's niche is because of the price.
Really?
And you're right. Don't get me wrong. The price of the new Oculus is much cheaper than the previous versions of it or other versions of VR. But I still think it's too expensive, and it's not approachable enough yet to not be niche.
Well, and here's
I think like, for instance, the gaming consoles, everyone has a gaming console, but you can't play a VR game without a console or a computer. So not only are you having to purchase a PC or that console if you don't already have it.
Right.
Okay. But then you're having to purchase this setup. And it's a very specific setup. Yes, anyone can set it up. It's pretty easy to set up, generally speaking. My father-in-law has the Oculus. Generally speaking, a very easy setup, but he first had to purchase a PC. That PC cost him $500 to $600.
Sure.
So not only is he purchasing a PC for $500 to $600, generally relatively inexpensive for a PC.
Right.
I mean, it was a pre-build. He didn't build it himself, but he only bought it to play VR games.
Okay.
But not only is he out the $700, but now he's out another $400, $300, $400, $500 for the VR. So he's spending $1,200 to just play VR games.
So that's
not feasible for the average gamer.
Now, here's the thing.
I mean, the average gamer can barely buy the Xbox. The Xbox. What I'm forgetting the name of it.
One X.
The One X. Oh, yeah. The average gamer cannot buy the new Xbox One X or the PS5.
So
the typical average person, not only because of supply and demand, but because of the pricing of it.
A year ago,
let alone a VR set.
That's the thing. A year ago, I would have agreed with you, but now in the current times that we live in, right, where these massive amounts of people are spending time at home, and we talked about it before. You brought it up that humans need that interaction. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think that this is one of the outlets that they're using for that.
Oh, and I agree with you 100% on that. I'm not disagreeing with you at all on that aspect of it. But I'm just thinking, how many people are actually jumping onto VR chat, and how many of them actually have a VR setup?
Sure.
Like, how many of them actually have that? I would like to know how many people who have either a PC or a gaming setup or even just one console, what percentage of those people actually have a VR setup? I think maybe 20% of those people do.
Sure. But here's the thing too.
I'd be shocked if it were 30.
I bought and I'm going to kind of draw a parallel here, so stay with me. In 2007, 2006, 2007, I bought a 55-inch Samsung TV for almost $2,000. Now, right now, today, I can go down to Walmart and pick up a 55-inch TV for $300.
Dude, you could get a 75-inch TV for like $700.
See, and that's the thing. So now that I'm starting to see this trend of these companies trying to make it more accessible, that's why I think it's going to be less niche. And I think that we're going to see it more in the future. And
I totally agree with you. That's going to be less niche in the future. I think that you're right that the price is dropping. I agree with you on that 100%. I just think it's too early.
What was that movie?
For it not to be niche. I think that you got to give it another 10 to 15 years.
Bruce Willis. Was that what the heck was that movie where nobody went outside ever? They just sent out their vision of themselves because they used a VR machine in their house. You know what I'm talking about? Did you ever see that movie?
What's the...
Not like.
Are you talking about? Not. It's not Ender's Game.
No, but
what's the other one?
It's
Ready Player One.
No. So
I mean, Ready Player One is all about that VR stuff, though. But
yes, it is. But I'm going to bring that up because it reminded me of what's kind of happening now. Bruce Willis movies list, because I'm going to find it. It starts with an I think. But basically, that's what I see kind of happening, specifically with COVID. COVID's not going to go away anytime soon, even though we would love it to. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Not Unbreakable, no Ocean. I've got to find this movie. But basically, yeah, that's what it was. Surrogates, that's what it's called. Surrogates. And basically nobody went out of their house. They controlled these robots. So they would, get out of bed. They'd go get into this little pod thing, put on their headset, and control these versions of themselves. Whether, you may be an ugly, larger dude, but your surrogate is this good-looking, suave, debonair guy. And so you literally never had to do anything. You just controlled your surrogate via VR. And that's what it kind of reminds me of. And if you look on Steam, the amount of VR games is ridiculous. Phasmophobia, a game that I love, is another game that I want to get a VR headset for because of that immersion factor. Mm-hmm. The problem is I'm worried about getting motion sick.
Well, and that's I mean, the other part of it for me is that this VR stuff, I think it's early. I think the VR is a lot like the Wii right now, like what the Wii was back in, what was that, 2005? Yeah, it's early very, very early technology. It's it's primitive to what it can be,
right,
and what it will be in 10 to 15 years. I think that VR gaming will be a lot more widespread 10 years. You got to give it 10 more years. I think it's too expensive. The setup is too difficult. I think, or not as simple as it could be. I think that, you're not only are you having to buy a console, but now you're having to buy this setup. And I think that, a lot of the games, especially, it's not as simple as just getting in the game and you're at it.
Right.
Like Half-Life Alyx. I've watched the gameplay and I've seen it. And I'm like, there's a lot of stuff within this game that doesn't work with the VR as well as it should.
Sure.
This would work a heck of a lot better with a mouse and a keyboard.
Right.
And I think that that's one of the humps that gaming in general has to somehow get over, as far as the VR goes, is just figuring out how to make a video game accessible and playable within the VR realm. And that's really hard to do. But I think 10 to 15 years from now, I think you're going to see it's going to be a lot better.
Maybe so. So. Like, I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon.
I agree. VR is here to stay. It's just we're kind of like in the Bitcoin, where Bitcoin was back in 2005, 2006.
See, and if you would have invested in Bitcoin in 2005,
it's right now we're at about $2.
Yeah.
Give it 10 years, you'll be at 10 grand.
Right.
Or where it is now, 55. So,
well, as long as the companies continue to make it more accessible, and because the original VR headsets, I don't know if you knew this, needed like massive amounts of space around you.
Yeah.
And I remember, there was a laser tag place back where I'm from that back in the late 90s had a VR setup, and it's something similar to what the military uses. The military even uses it today for what's called biofeedback for people who have PTSD. They put them in those same VR headsets and put them into situations in order to measure like their responses to, like, let's say someone has PTSD from gunshots, right? Mm-hmm. So they put them back in a battle situation in a VR headset to immerse them back in there. And then a computer screen sits out and shows, hey, this is what your body did at these points, so that they can start to recognize those things and kind of head them off. So there are practical uses for VR. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to continue to see it grow over time. And, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So last thing, I know we're getting close to our time. We do need to go over it really quick because it is current news.
Oh, yes.
Pokemon Direct.
Oh, yes. So, and PS State of Play as well.
That too.
It's been, I have been loving the past couple of weeks, because it's finally like the big three are finally like being like, hey, here's the stuff. We're probably going to, more than likely, we'll hear something from Microsoft in the next, I'd say, month or so.
Yeah, probably.
But Nintendo with the Nintendo Direct last week. Now we've got the Pokemon Direct and the PlayStation State of Play. Not so much with the Pokemon Direct, because it's just Pokemon.
Right.
But me being a Pokemon fan, I'm pretty satisfied with what we've got. Remake of Sinnoh.
Right.
Open world game, Legends Arceus. I don't know how to pronounce the name correctly, but I like Arceus better than Arceus, but whatever.
Right. Okay.
And then you got new Pokemon Snap. Those were the three big things. Of course, the trading card game that's always evolving and yada yada. But the big thing was that everyone was hoping for the remake of Sinnoh. Everyone was really worried that they were going to do a Let's Go, and no one wanted a Let's Go. And sure. I'm one of the people who's I would pre-order the game.
Makes sense. I mean, I have Pokemon. I have Sword or Shield or one of them. I think I've made it to like the 4th gym.
You haven't beat it yet?
No.
Dude, I beat it in like a week.
Yeah, I have not beat it.
It's like, it's so easy. That's the easiest Pokemon game ever.
Interesting. Because before that, the last Pokemon game I played was Red, as in the first one.
I'll be playing that later. either red or yellow or blue.
See, I get confused.
Yeah.
Why can't they just say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Jesus.
Because they got to make it interesting. Again, marketing to kids.
I'm colorblind, okay? Just saying.
So, but no, everyone. So you've had the remake of Fire Red with Fire Red. That was the first ever remake, and Leaf Green. That was they didn't do blue, which I thought was odd, but they did Leaf Green, which was fine. Then you had the remakes for Ruby and Sapphire. Yep. And they did they did Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And now they're finally remaking the 4th generation. The big complaint everyone's having with this is the graphics and the chibi characters. Yeah. And the thing for me is you don't play Pokemon for the graphics. You never played Pokemon for the graphics ever.
This goes to show how, in the attitude of all gamers, they're going to find something to complain about.
Of course they will. And
you're not cool unless you do.
I know you liked my tweet the other day.
Wait, which one was it?
The one where they like, just the gaming community as a whole needs to just be on diazepam.
Oh yeah,
just
agreed. Here, I'm going to retweet that right now. Actually,
it's the most bipolar gaming. The gaming community as a whole is the most bipolar community ever.
Yes,
because even when we ask for, hey, we would like a remake of Sinnoh, and please don't make it Let's Go. That's all we asked for, and that's exactly what we got. And everyone's freaking out about the art. I'm like, it's just different art. It's fine. I mean, if you look at the old art for the old games anyway, that's chibi just in 2D.
Yeah, who cares?
Now it's just chibi 3D. It's the exact same art style. It's just 3D.
They could have made it in 8K, ultra realistic, and someone would have complained.
Well, they complained in Sword and Shield that when you went up a ladder, that the entire world around you froze. And I'm like, when you die in Breath of the Wild, everything freezes.
Yep.
Like, what's the difference? You're just climbing up a ladder. So I like the remake. My brother-in-law and I were talking about it. He's going to get one version. I'm going to get the other. I like it. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's going to be good. It's one of the hardest Pokemon games out there. Besides, in my opinion, I think the first generation games are the hardest.
Right.
But I have not actually played Diamond or Pearl because that was when I was going to college and I didn't have any money, so I wasn't able to purchase it, and I stopped playing video games as a whole for a little while.
There's a lot of Pokemon games.
Yeah. So, but from what I've heard, Diamond and Pearl is are probably the hardest generation of games in the Pokemon series.
Interesting.
So it's really cool that they're remaking that. Everyone's talking about Cynthia and getting their butts kicked by her. So it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be good, as long as they don't nerf it, because again, Sword and Shield was way too easy.
Right.
And even for kids, I'll even say this. Yes, it's a kid's game.
It is.
But even for a kid's game, it's a little too easy. So, and then of course you have Legends.
Yep.
And it's an open world game,
which is cool.
And it gives it, and it's always been, Pokemon set in the modern era, or
right,
at least progressing chronologically throughout, and you're just experiencing different, areas. But
sure,
we're actually going back in time and seeing how humans first interacted with the Sinnoh region.
Which is pretty cool.
That's an amazing concept. It gives context. I think that the Sinnoh remakes are targeted towards kids. And I think that the Legends Arceus game is targeted towards the old players.
Right.
Like our age group. Because it's giving context, it's giving depth, it's open world, so it's going to have that strategic element to it. And I think there's going to be more of a story behind it. And it's going to give depth to the Pokemon universe, which is something that the older generation has been begging for so long. And I think that this is the perfect way for Pokemon to present these two games. You've got the game that's made for the kids, which is the Sinnoh remakes, right? Which are games that you and I would have played in high school, college. Kids that played it were in middle school,
right?
But now you've got the remakes, which are going to be targeted towards your kids, for instance, and to people who are like, oh, I just want to replay the game in a different way. But then the Arceus games are built towards those people that are, again, our age, who have grown up with it and seen it grow and are looking for that depth to the universe, which I think is amazing.
And that is really cool.
So, but the people complaining about it, it's just, again, the gamers will complain about anything. Yeah.
I just want to say this, and we'll kind of leave that to lie. Because of how gamers are, that's why game companies don't respond a whole lot. You know, like... And
Nintendo's really good at not responding to that stuff.
I get it. I get it. Because, God, it's like, I think I've used this analogy before, being in a room with 500 people and everybody wants the AC on a different setting. Like, that's why they don't respond, is because literally nobody can come out and say, God, that was a good game. Because if they do, there's not going to get a lot of press about it.
Oh, yeah.
Paper Mario was a great game. The Origami King was a great game. Did you see all of these news stories saying how amazing it was? I mean, I'm sure there's some.
Yeah.
But if they came out and let's say they put Mario's cap on backwards, oh my God, that would have been all over every single gaming forum, news area, 4chan, Reddit, Tumblr, everywhere. So, yeah.
And then you have Pokemon Snap, which is Pokemon Snap.
Yeah,
it's
you're taking
special,
pictures of the Pokemans.
Yeah, which Pokemon Snap, the original on the N64, great game, fun. It was very fun, relaxing, chill game. I think it was interesting. You know, there's the big thing about Pokemon Snap is there's a lot of secret stuff to unlock, and that's really interesting to discover and see. But I mean, it's Pokemon Snap. So
when I was younger, I didn't appreciate Pokemon Snap till I was older, and I think it's because of that Hey You Pikachu game.
Yeah.
That never picked up my voice because I had already gone through puberty.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and then that was a shorter thing, just about 20 minutes of really mainline content to reveal. Yeah. Maybe more like 10 minutes, but good. Regardless, I think that the Pokemon Direct was good. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. That's what I would say.
Cool.
If Nintendo Direct got like a 6 out of 10 and most of it was weighing on Mario Golf, I would say that the Pokemon Direct was like an 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10 because of how
I didn't watch it, but you know, just watching the reaction on Twitter, I would have felt like it was a 0 out of 10.
That's why you don't look at Twitter. I don't look at Twitter anymore. But the bigger thing was PlayStation State of Play. That was a longer thing. Now I don't know. Right. Did you watch it at all?
I didn't.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. They really focused on the hardware. They really hammered on the hardware, like really hard, especially the controller. They focused on the features of the controller hard in every single game. And I'm going to sum it up in 3 words. And this was in the Crash 4 reveal. You can feel the suck.
Wait, what?
You can feel. He literally the words "feel the suck."
What? Why?
It was some vacuum or something like that you could use, but like they were like, "Feel the suck," and all I was thinking of was Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh my God!
And that was all that was in my brain, and I didn't know why Twitter wasn't broken because of that yet.
What are they? I guess I don't understand. What are they pushing so hard with the controller?
It's all of like it's the intuitive controls. It's the triggers that are, you know. What I mean, this is old technology. This was back on the PS2, for God's sakes, where it was like the controller was pressure sensitive. I'm like that's old news. It's nothing new. And or
the rumble feature has been out since Nintendo 64.
It's an intuitive rumble feature.
I hate it.
It's intuitive.
Look, every game that I play, I turn off the rumble feature. Now, Diva, my wife, what's really funny, she cannot play Overwatch without the rumble.
Well, I think that it's very that's a niche thing. Like the rumble feature was neat for the Nintendo 64 if you were playing like
the rumble packs.
NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
Like that was hilarious because you could every single time you slammed someone the controller freaked out.
Right.
I mean in other games you could use it to kind of like figure out where you're at, you know, Super Mario Odyssey, you figure out a moon is. That's
Breath of the Wild did that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are all that kind of features that implement strategy to the game, though. Whereas, I don't know. I think that I think that PlayStation oversells the controller. I think they hyper focus on the features of the controller, and they don't really focus as much as on the gameplay itself. I
don't know. I was, not to beat a dead horse, but I was so underwhelmed by the new gen consoles that I felt like there's no reason for me to buy one.
Right.
There's zero reason for me to buy one.
Well, and if I'll say one thing that Microsoft has over Sony on this is that to me, this is an opinion. I could be totally off base about this. I think that Microsoft focuses more on the gameplay than PlayStation and Sony does. I think they focus on the features way too much.
I don't know. It all depends because you have games like Horizon Zero Dawn, which were like a phenomenal game. I bought a PS4, bought that game, got the DLC, played it, and then sold the PS4.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
Yeah. I mean, a little.
Because now it's available on PC, but here's the thing, and I know that they brought a whole bunch of different games around, Final Fantasy VII Part 2, and great, cool, but why don't you just play Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
I know it's a complete remake, but still, for me, I have no reason for a console, especially like with. The main reason why I've streamed console games for so long is because my processor was crap.
Right.
But I have a new processor coming in 2 days.
Upgrades.
Right. And so for me, I'll still be speedrunning on my Switch because I love the Switch and my older consoles. But all of the games I can get on these consoles, I can get on my PC.
Well, and that was the point that I was going to make to you there. And it kind of bothered me watching the state of play because every single game was a PS5 game. This is a PS5 game. They kept saying that every single game was a PS5 game. You remember that knockout game that we were talking about last week on the Switch that was like dodgeball? Yeah. They presented that as a PS5 game. I'm like, that's on the Switch.
But it's not. Yeah.
It's not a PS5 game because it's on the Switch as well. Like every game, this is a PS5 game. Like, no, it's not.
See, and that's a problem.
That's the thing that Sony and Microsoft are not doing well is they're not presenting exclusives well. They don't have good exclusives, and there was a huge backlash of people talking about exclusives. Exclusives are bad. No, exclusives are great because that's how you get good games. Look back to when we were kids, right? Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2, and I guess we'll say the Xbox, but the Xbox was later, really.
Right, it was.
But let's say Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 2. You had carts versus a disc.
Right. Completely
different platforms, completely different ways of playing the game. In every way, shape, or form. The controllers were different. The carts were different. The systems looked completely different.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had very, very distinct exclusives. You had Mario. You had Star Fox. You had Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yep.
You name it, Pokemon, etc. All on the N64. On the PlayStation 2. You had Metal Gear, you had freaking Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, etc. We go on and on. GTA, whatever. But those were very distinct exclusives, and you kind of had two different cultures appear because of that. You had the people who had the N64, and then you had the people who had the PlayStation 2. I think that both of those consoles, the N64 and the PlayStation 2, are probably the two best consoles ever made.
Sure.
Probably. And we could argue about that all day. Personally, they're my two favorite, N64 and then PlayStation 2 right underneath it.
Yeah.
But you don't have those exclusives anymore. You don't.
You don't because Microsoft, because Nintendo does its own thing. Nintendo will always do its own thing.
Yep.
And that's fine. To me, it sets itself apart because I can't play Zelda or Mario on another console. I can't.
Unless you emulate.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about older stuff too here. We're not talking about the new stuff.
Well, Halo, I can get on my PC Why? Because Windows is owned by Microsoft, which also owns Xbox.
Yep.
Right. I agree 100%. And until they change, console exclusive, blah, 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 I probably will not buy another console outside of Nintendo.
Yep.
Like I said, I bought Horizon Zero Dawn and a PS4 just to play it, beat it, and sell it.
And the PS4 had amazing exclusives on it, by the way. So that surprises me that was the only game that you played. And then, but you're right. It's just like, why would I buy a PS4? Why would I keep this if this is the only game I'm going to play, and then all the other games I'm going to play are on the computer, right? That are also on the PS4. Like, why would I do that when I have a PC right here? Like, exactly. That's my thing. Like, I'm not going to buy I'm not going to buy a console when I have Epic Games, and the Epic Games Store continues to have free games like Far Cry 4. What else?
And by the way,
Battlefront 2. I have Battlefront 2 for free on Epic Games on my PC. Like, what the heck?
And to play those games online, you have to pay a subscription.
Yeah.
Which I pay, by the way. The Xbox Ultimate Pass was probably the best deal I've ever gotten. I think I have like the next 3 or 4 years purchased because Diva plays Overwatch online. But they give out free games too. Now, what's really cool, and this is why Microsoft, I think in this aspect, was super smart. With that Ultimate Pass, you get free games on the Xbox and on PC.
Yeah.
You get them both. So I utilize my Xbox membership that I have to pay for my wife, and I get free games from that on my PC, which is really cool. So there's no reason for me to buy a new console. Zero.
Well, going back to the state of play, though, Sony, for whatever reason, they're terrible at presenting games.
Right.
You see it from the E3s. Like the E3s, the Sony E3s are always just the worst.
Of course. And
I'm going to sum it up with this. Final Fantasy VII, the part 2. Yeah. For whatever reason, they decided to put in a clip of Yuffie saying... No, she was responding to someone else. I don't know the Final Fantasy VII character, so I don't know who the other character was. But someone said they don't deserve to be here or something like that, or they deserved something, whatever, right? And she goes, "They do, but I'm not your sister." I'm like, what?
What?
What do you... What? They do, but I'm not your sister. What is that?
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Like, this is like... And I get... And this is Japan. This is the problem with Japanime RPG stuff, JRPG stuff. It's just like, why? What? All the anime grunting and everything, that is weird. But it's just, why would you put that line into your reveal?
Out of all of the different lines that you could probably choose from.
Of all the things that you could put in there to like really pump me up. Yes, they do, but I'm not your sister. That makes me want to buy your game.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
They showed graphics on PS5 versus PS4. Here's the opinion that I had of that. It's more cinematic, I guess.
I hate cinematic games.
You get lens flare, more lens flare, and then they were like, the fog effects. Yeah. The fog effects.
Did they mention motion blur at all?
No.
Whoever invented motion blur is literally the worst person in the world.
Oh my god, they hammered on the fog effects. They were like, look at the fog effects. I'm like,
why do we care?
Why do I care? So
I play games for story. I'm not a big graphics guy. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind great graphics. I just want the game to run and have a good story and good play.
I mean, Crash 4 looked better than Final Fantasy 7. I mean, the Crash, those graphics look amazing. Final Fantasy VII does not look as good graphically as Crash 4 does, and they didn't really focus on the graphics for Crash 4. Crash 4, by the way, looks very good, other than the feel the suck part.
Feel the suck.
Anyway, games that I did like though, Kenna looks really good. It's a third person kind of beat 'em up sort of thing.
That's cool.
Kind of looks a little Dark Souls-ish to a certain degree. Deathloop, I really like. That looks really fun. That looks like there's an interesting story behind it.
Nice.
And then you have FNAF, Security Breach.
All right, I'm going to say this. This is going to be the most unpopular opinion ever. I hate Five Nights at Freddy.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I hate it. I hate it. I tried playing it. I'm like, this is the dumbest concept ever. And it's not because of the story. The story's kind of cool. Oh yeah, you're a security guard and oh, these things are coming alive. Cool. But I hated how the first Five Nights at Freddy turned out. And then they just like went off the deep end.
I mean, it's a cool concept. It's a cool concept for one game.
But I just think, unpopular opinion, I think the execution was complete garbage. Like, complete garbage.
I think it's a good one-off indie game. I think that continuing the series was a poor idea, and I think that... And also, the people that like that game, the niche group that, is the cult following for that game is kind of...
Well, here's the thing.
Meh.
When did Five Nights at Freddy's come out? The original, the first one.
2010.
Yeah.
2009.
So here's what I think is happening with that situation, right? Is it was huge on YouTube. It was massive.
Sure.
You couldn't go through a video without seeing another Five Nights at Freddy's video. Okay.
Well, I mean, you had Pewceptipie.
Right. Exactly.
All of them playing it.
So, you've got this generation of kids that grew up watching that on YouTube. So now they can't let it die. They can't.
Well, and I think, to me, I think. Let me put it this way. I think that I think it's an interesting idea. I think it's cool for a one-off game, indie game, whatever. I think that you could have done something cool with it.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
What was presented was just FNAF meets Hello Neighbor.
Yeah. And
it didn't look good at all.
Hello Neighbor is the new Five Nights at Freddy's.
Well, Hello Neighbor is a really good game because it's actually like it's not just a horror; it's a psychological horror,
right? And
it's an actually complex story. Whereas FNAF is just, you're a security guard and these robots are going to attack you. And sure, you have, again, the cult following that's created lore behind it, but there's nothing really else there substance-wise.
Right.
It's like you've been presented a pie and it's just crust.
Yeah, ew. Gross.
So.
But yeah, I think that's probably a good spot we can wrap it up. Went a little long this week. So yeah, let us know what you think. Reach out to us.
Yeah.
I've got a Discord. You've got a Discord. We all have a Discord. But Twitter's the best place. I'm on Twitter 24 hours a day. So,
I'm trying to use Twitter more because I actually have people starting to follow me now. And I usually have hot takes. Literally, I tweet when I'm just like, when I have some stupid idea and I just go blah, blah, blah. And then I just let it go. So
use Twitter, because I chose Twitter as kind of like an alternate area from Facebook because I got tired of what Facebook was becoming. But I don't know. There's lots of stuff going on Twitter, so that's where I'm most active.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's a reply I need to do here shortly because somebody said that if you defend the graphics of Pokemon, you're simping for the corporations or something. I don't know.
My gosh.
I need to address that. But yeah, at Tharoah, THAROAH. You're still Scotch and Tie guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
So follow us there. Shoot me a DM. My DMs are always open.
Yeah.
Which is probably a mistake, but send me a message. I read every single one of them. So next week, again, that's today is March 3rd when this episode airs.
That's correct.
So March 10th, there will be no episode.
Correct.
But look, maybe we can do something. Maybe we can figure out something to do, even if it's small, 10, 15 minutes, something. I don't know.
Well, I'll have my PC set up, hopefully, so we could probably do a stream at some point. And we're trying to do that more often. I know my mornings are about to free up big time. So
sweet.
I'm going to be, my goal is to stream 2 hours a day, every day, come like a week from now.
That's reasonable.
Because then I can just, or at least an hour, just jump on, play a video game,
hang out, chat.
Exactly, that sort of thing. Whether it's just me chatting or if it's me playing a video game, whatever. But definitely for sure, at least 2 hours a week with the Gaming Dad's Twitch.
Yeah,
in
we
whatever
could do that.
capacity that is. So Twitch, Twitter, Discord, email, MySpace, AIM.
Wait, MySpace? Oh, yeah, that does still exist.
It does.
It's kind of, yeah.
It's like for nothing. It's like for underground music artists, though.
Yeah,
That's all
it's
it is.
not. It's not what it used to be.
No.
But we're gonna wrap that up for this week.
Yeah.
Hope to see you again here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, good gaming.
Absolutely.